Hi, today we're going to talk about academic integrity, why it's important, and what could happen if you lose it. Academic integrity may be something you've heard your teachers talk about or seen in your assessment tasks. Not many students actually know what it is, though. It says here International Baccalaureate, living in an age, hang on, no, blah, blah. Academic honesty, making knowledge, understanding, and thinking transparent. Yeah? That's all. Oh, yeah. And then there's a list of things I'm not allowed to do: plagiarism, collusion, misconduct, communication about examination and summative assessment content, and duplication of work. Yeah? Is that right? Okay, so he isn't wrong. Academic honesty is making knowledge, understanding, and thinking transparent. And academic integrity is the way you act to maintain that honesty. But what does this actually look like in the real world? Here's the scenario. You maybe procrastinated for too long and the assignments due became overwhelming, or you were super stressed about getting a really good grade. So you copied some stuff from online, or you got your tutor to write it for you. Maybe you swapped an in class assessment for the one that you actually wrote at home. That's okay, right? It's all still your work. Nope. All of those things would count as a breach of your academic integrity. Let's start with the easy one: plagiarism. Sure, you wrote that essay, but is all of it really yours? I mean, maybe you are a genius. But there's a good chance that some of the information you included didn't come straight from your brain. You probably got it from an external source. So just cite it. That way no one thinks you're plagiarizing. And it's really easy to check if you plagiarized. So don't try hide it. Avoiding plagiarism is one of the simplest parts of keeping your academic integrity. If you got the fact, idea, or wording from somewhere other than your brain, you need to cite it. Okay, that was the easy part. Moving on to the next step. Now, let's say you've got an assignment or a bit of homework or an essay that's nearly due. You didn't procrastinate this time. You worked really hard, tried your best, put all your effort into making this piece of work really good. Then your friend comes up to you next day at school. Hey, how's it going? You know how I'm such an amazing friend and all, and how I trust you with my life, and how I bought you food the other day. Do you remember that? Yeah, when I bought you food? And right, well, you're just the best. So I was wondering, can I copy your assignment? Please, please, I'm desperate. I'll do anything. Please just let me copy it just this once. It might be hard to say no to them. They might really be your closest friend, and you just want to help them out. But you have to realize it isn't fair to you. You did the work, not your friend. If you say yes to this, it's collusion. Let's recap. Person A asks Person B if they can copy their homework. Person B says yes because they're friends, right? But Person B did the work, so even if they get caught, only Person A gets in trouble, right? Wrong. Person A has plagiarized, Person B has colluded. Both of them have breached their academic integrity. Misconduct seems like the simplest one to understand. Don't do anything you're not supposed to do in an exam or an assessment. So the obvious two are using your phone and talking. In formal exams, though, especially as you begin your DP courses, there are lots of other rules, including the use of calculators, open book tests, if you're allowed to have notes, procedures for going to the bathroom, and rules about listening to music. Even if you haven't tried to cheat, if you do something that's outside of the rules of an examination, it will be considered a breach of academic integrity, just the same as cheating. Double check what you are and aren't allowed to have with you every time you have a formal assessment, just to be sure. Here's another scenario for you. You had a test last period. It went okay. You're pretty happy with it. And when you got home, your friend texts you. They want information on what was on the test because they've got to do it in period 1 tomorrow. Sharing the content of an assessment in person, via text, or on social media within 24 hours is a breach of academic integrity. Even if you want to tell your friends to help them out, you can't. It's called communicating content, and it is just as serious as the other academic integrity categories. Last example. This time it's late and you're really tired. You've got two assignments due tomorrow, one for English that's a creative writing piece, and one for arts, where you're also supposed to have written something creative. You've done the English piece. Surely you can just change a couple of words and hand in the same thing to your arts teacher? No, that would be duplication of work. Although you wrote it and it is your original ideas, or you've cited it properly, you cannot hand in the same piece of work for two different assessments. Each one needs its own unique piece of work. So why? Why do people participate in academic dishonesty? Well, most students don't plan to. Sometimes it's a lack of awareness, sometimes it's accidental, sometimes it's careless. But it's usually in response to test anxiety, upcoming deadlines, or outside pressures. Realistically, you've probably already experienced this kind of pressure, and if you haven't, you likely will during at least one assignment or assessment. What happens if you do participate in academic dishonesty? Well, anytime your academic integrity is questioned, it goes on your school record. First offences begin with you needing to redo your work. However, as you get older, or as you commit additional offences, the consequences are severe, and you could be asked to leave the school as a result of an academic integrity breach. So, how do we avoid this? How do we help manage the anxiety that you might feel with assessments and exams? The first way is to keep up with the coursework and don't wait till the last minute to complete assignments. And as you're working through your assignments, try not to use resources that wouldn't be allowed in exams or formal assessments, especially a site or a tutor who will just do it for you. Outside resources can be useful to help learn the material, but you should be the one doing the work. For example, if you believe that you've learnt the concept in class because you found an app that can do it for you and get the answer correct, that's the same as believing you can speak Portuguese because you can use Google Translate. What's going to happen when you go to Portugal and someone speaks to you and you don't have international data on your phone? Probably the same thing that will happen in your assessment. You will realize you don't actually know how to answer, and this will lead to even more anxiety. Your teacher will be able to help you. They will have resources that might be useful to support your learning and other help if you ask for it. We want you to succeed. Struggling is okay. It is not realistic to expect you will learn everything at the same pace and get a perfect score every time. Asking for help is definitely okay. It's the best way to fill any gaps in your knowledge and help you move forward. Getting an app or another person to do the work for you just so you get a better grade doesn't actually help in the long term. Whether you believe it or not, maintaining your integrity is more important than any grade you might receive. Your integrity is an important part of who you are, and once you compromise it, it can be really hard to get it back. Of course, we hope you pass every test that you face at school. However, if you've got a choice between failing a test of your knowledge or failing a test of your integrity, please fail the knowledge test. A failed test is easy to fix. A lack of academic integrity can impact your education for many years to come.